Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this MSI Stealth 15M. Alright, so this laptop, the customer was telling me the fan was making some noises. Hopefully it's just dust or debris or something. Otherwise, we're going to have to pull the whole motherboard out, which, I mean, you guys will probably like, but I don't know. Hopefully it's not going to take that to repair this fan. Alright, the full model number is Stealth 15M A11UEK-021US, and then there's some super long model after that. I'm not going to read that. That's likely for the specs and everything. Alright, and then they have this model number, MS-1563. Right, I'm not sure what that model number is for, but let's go ahead and open this thing up. Alright, so we're going to be using a J1 or JS1 screwdriver, or PH1, whichever you got, you can use that. Alright. You want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and length. The customer already actually took the screws out and opened it up, so hopefully they put the screws back in the right order. But anyways, I keep them in order by putting them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Alright, so we got like 1, 2, it looks like they already mixed around some screws because I can already see the factory seal sticker in that hole there. So I'm gonna take this screw instead. Okay, and we're going to put that here. Hopefully all these screws are about the same. I'm going to put these 4 kind of in the same row. There's another one here, but yeah. So we're going to put that guy there for now. Alright. If this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. But other than that, let's go ahead and continue removing all these screws and get the bottom cover off. There is a little hole right here, which is a battery reset hole. If your computer is having issues powering on, you can actually use a folded out like small paper clip or a semi-eject tool or something to press and hold that. You'll feel it click. Press and hold that for about 15 seconds and then plug the computer in and see if it turns back on. If it doesn't, then you probably have like a motherboard issue or something. Right, anyways, we're almost done. We only got 2 more screws to go, and then we're going to see about popping this bottom cover off. Hopefully the cover comes off relatively easily. Sometimes I've noticed on these MSI laptops, well, very often now, they like to put all the upgradable components on the bottom of the motherboard, so hopefully it's not designed that way, but let's see. Alright, so we got the gap here between the bottom cover and the palm rest. Usually what I do, I'll get my fingernails in that gap and then I'll push with my thumb on the palm rest. Let's see if it'll pop out that way. On this model, it doesn't seem to work that way. It could be, since there's only 2 screws here, maybe we gotta go from the side first. Let's see. Okay, so here you can see on the side there's this gap here. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on its side. We'll open it up slightly so it stands on its own. I'm gonna get my fingernail in there, and then let's try pushing on this side. Okay, and this is actually also being difficult as well. So let's go to the other side, see if we got any luck with that. If not, most likely we're gonna use the suction cup. Alright, let's see here. Okay, yeah, this cover is not easy to pop out without using some special tools. So let's see. We're going to try with the suction cup here and see if we can go. Okay, you can see when you pull up, it actually flexes the cover outwards, so you actually have a little gap there. So maybe once we pull up hard enough, it's going to pop out. Let's see. No, not really. Okay, I don't want to like destroy the casing, but let's see. Yeah, this cover is going to be a pain. Let's see. I don't know if there's some special trick to it. I don't know if the customer actually got the cover open or they just tried and then gave up. But let's see here. Like, I mean, it's popping a gap here, so you can kind of get a tool in there easier, but it's not popping the cover off. Let's see. Wow. Huh. Okay, I'm gonna assume we're gonna start here. Let's see, can I pop some clips here? This is kind of popping out, you can see. Okay, so that pops out, but why is this side like so floppy and this side's not? Huh. I wonder if the customer broke it or something. I don't know if that's... Okay, let's see. Can we pop the back now? Not really. Wow, what is going on with this case? Is there some special way to remove this? What in the world? Okay, well, I mean, the sides come up, but what about the back and the front? What is this? Okay, let's see. Does a gap form here? Do we need to somehow... Okay, I'm going to pull this edge out, okay? So basically pulling on this outwards after I already popped these clips, okay? And that seems to be working. So I'm basically pulling on that gap and pushing with my thumb here. So you can see we're going to pull like that. There we go. And that seems to be working. So now we have this swinging upwards. Okay, and this part, see, my fingernail got stuck in there, and look at that, it like sliced a bit of it. Okay, so what we're gonna do now that we have that, I'm gonna hold with my thumb here, and we're gonna kind of wiggle this case side to side and see if we can pop the clips that way. There we go. All right, so as you can see, it is a struggle to get this bottom case off, but we did it. There we go. That's what it looks like underneath. Okay, if you need to see that for some reason, there we go. We'll set that aside. And as you can see, there's nothing replaceable here. Okay, this fan seemed to be more of a pain to turn, but now that I spun it, it seems okay. The grease, like the dust that's on here, seems like pretty gunky. So usually when I see that, it's because the customer, either they boil lots of liquids, so the moisture gets in the fan and dust sticks to it, or they have like air fresheners that they plug in and the oils are burning, or they vape, or they have like or they smoke, or they have anything else that kind of burns off like oils or moisture into the air. Usually that's what I see that causes that kind of stuff. We're gonna see, I'm gonna try and power it up. I might have to ask the customer their password so I can run some stress test software on it to see if the fan will keep making those noises. They said it was like making some loud grinding noises. I can't really hear that unless it's spinning on its own really fast. If I spin it manually, then I'm probably not gonna be able to get it to make the sound, but I'll try. I'll use my handheld air blowing thing, squeeze air tool, and see. Yeah, as you can see, this build, I see one screw here, and then there's a screw over here with this fan. Not really much to go on. They do hide other stuff like the LCD LVDS connector here, the fan or the battery connectors right here. I don't know why it was like crooked, but it was crooked. You got the most likely keyboard and touchpad, and then you got one M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD slot there. They have a big empty wasted space here, which I'm assuming on some models they add an extra SSD slot, and to save money they probably just didn't put one here. Wireless card is right there. Yeah, so again, they hide the RAM and everything underneath. There's a keyboard backlight connector there, it looks like. And then I don't know what this FPC2 is for. There's another little connector right there. That's FPC2. I don't know what that is. Anyways, I'm going to power this on, if it turns on. Is it not going to turn on? Is there no battery? I guess the customer must have drained the battery completely. Let me test real quick with this. That fan sounds normal. That also sounds normal. So maybe after kind of moving it around and cleaning it up, it might be okay. Again, I'm going to ask the customer because I don't want to needlessly rip their computer apart and then risk causing damage. I know it's good for content, but it's not good for my customers' devices. You don't want to just like take things apart that you don't need to. Yes, it's good for you to learn, but at the expense of my customers, that's not nice. So yeah, unless they actually need me to take that stuff apart, I don't do that kind of thing. So I know I get a lot of like people that tell me next time you get that computer, take this thing apart. I mean, if somebody brought in their nice collector's cool car that not many people see, I'm not just going to take apart their whole engine just because like people want to see content online. I know it's cool, but if the customer is just like, I need an oil change, imagine you start pulling out their engine, they'll be like, what is going on? Like, even if you think you can do it safely, there's always chance of risk. So yeah, I don't do that kind of thing. All right, so I'm gonna ask my customer for their password, run some tests, and then we're gonna see if the fan is okay. We're just gonna put the bottom cover on, sadly, but there is the little M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here. You do need to peel this thing out of the way to get the screw up if you want to replace the SSD. But other than that, battery model is right here. So battery model number is BTY-M491. All right, BTY-M491, and it looks like that's messed up. So, oops, I knocked the screws around. Let me clean this up real quick. All right, so they the screws for the battery, they hide them underneath little rubber pads. So there's a rubber pad here. Okay, there's a rubber pad here, and there's 2 rubber pads, well, 3 rubber pads. There's 2 here and then 1 more here, and they actually hide the screws under there. So, also be careful you don't smush the speaker. You don't want to pinch into that and destroy the membrane. But there's a screw hidden underneath that rubber. There's another one there and another one there. And then I see another rubber pad here. There's all these rubber pads on this, which these, I don't think they're hiding screws underneath. Are they? No. Like, it lifts slightly. I can see, like, if I go under here and pull on it, it, like, flexes upwards. So I don't think there's going to be any screws hidden there. But definitely under the battery. Like, is this another one? This is a tall, like, rubber piece, but I don't think it's being held, or I don't think a screw is under there. Yeah. So if I do need to take it apart, then I will go ahead and remove the battery and everything and show you guys. The best way to find out if there is a screw there or not, you look up this battery model number and then look around. Like, when you look at the battery, you'll see, like, where there's holes. Like, here you can see there's a hole, but there's no screw there. So you look at the battery and you'll see, like, the plastic, how it's formed. You can see where screws can go. If you see any of those screw holes covered, that's where you'll want to check if there's a screw hidden. So I don't know if I have an example to show. Like, let's say this is a MacBook Air battery. So if you have all these screw holes covered, but then you're buying a battery, you can look at new battery you're buying. You can see there's a hole there, a hole there, a hole there, hole there, hole there. So most of these kinds of things, you can kind of just think about it, look at the parts, and then kind of reverse engineer. It's kind of not really, well, it's somewhat reverse engineering, but usually I just tell people, you just got to think about it a little bit, use your brain a little, and most of the time you can figure it out. Because most of these computers, I'm working on it for the first time. I've never seen it before, never seen it built like this before, but because I need to fix it, I need to figure it out. And after you do enough of this, you kind of figure out, like, where they like to hide things. You got wireless antennas hiding underneath these, or that you got to peel all this stuff up, and you figure out, like, how things are, like, they design these sharp corners, so if you pull it too hard, it'll just tear the tape off completely. I hate, like, how they design this stuff now purposely to break things. I know I'm just rambling, sorry. Usually I don't do that in videos, but yeah, let me go ask my customer real quick for their password. I'm going to run some tests, see if the fan's okay. If it is, then I'm sorry, but we're just going to be putting the cover back on, and we're going to consider it fixed. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so lucky for you guys, you can hear the fan. It's going crazy. So I'm going to have to take it apart, see if I can add grease. If we can't add grease, we're going to actually have to order a replacement fan. So yeah, it's spinning okay now, but once in a while it starts, like, rumbling and making loud noises. You can kind of hear it right now, but it's not super noisy. Let me see if I can make the rumbling noise. Give me a second. Alright, so right now I'm stress testing the GPU and CPU. This is the GPU fan. This is the CPU fan. The CPU fan makes kind of a weird grumbling. This one just spins really fast. I'm going to stop the GPU stress test now, and we'll see. This fan should slow down pretty soon. Let's see, is it going to slow down? Or is it, I'm blocking the vent here with the table, so maybe not. But this fan is very grumbly. If I slow it down and stop it, hear that? Now it's just fan noise. This one's going to start up again. It's all grumbly. Alright, let's see if I stop the CPU stress test. So, I'm going to have to stop the CPU stress test. And let's see what happens now. Interesting, they're still running at pretty high RPMs, even though nothing is going right now. CPU, there you go. GPU one just cut itself off, or it's much slower now. You can see it's still spinning, but there's like no sound. This one's still very grumbly. If I stop that fan, see how quiet it is now? Yeah, so I need to get this fan fixed, the one next to the wireless antennas. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this thing taken apart. Alright, so we are going to have to take this completely apart, so let's get started. Let's go ahead and remove these little rubber feet on the battery, okay? Because we're going to have to take that out. I'm going to have to be careful because my desk has the little screws on it, and I don't want to accidentally bump them. So each little rubber foot has a little adhesive holding it there. Oh, you can see that one. The adhesive stayed on the screw, but came off of the rubber piece. Let me see if I can get it to stay on the rubber piece. Kind of, not really. It's stretched out a little bit. Okay. Alright, so we're going to get that. We're going to set these aside. And get this last one here. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's get these 3 screws out. Again, keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The battery screws are different from the bottom cover screws, and you don't want to mix them up and put them in the wrong place. So, yeah, I always put them in the pattern I remove them. That's the best way, so you can get the same screw back where you got it, and you don't have to worry about if something is different, then, yeah. Alright, so we're going to carefully lift from the back here, and you can see nothing else is holding it. Okay, we have the little battery connector here, which is going to be a bit difficult to get out. I'm going to try and get my finger underneath, and then I'm going to pinch the top here and just kind of wiggle the battery connector side to side, and hopefully we should be able to walk it out. Wow, no, that connector's stuck in there real good. Let's see, gotta get closer. I'm going to use my thumb on the back, on the back where the thing is, and I'm going to use that to kind of wiggle. Wow, that thing is stuck in there real good. I'm worried I'm going to break off the battery connector because right now it's mainly just pulling on the wires. But we have no other choice. Alright, so we're just kind of wiggling and pulling. Man, let me get these other screws out of the way a little bit so I have a little more room. Okay, sorry I'm doing this. I'm not cutting the video, but oops. I just gotta move the screws up a little bit so I have a little more room to show you guys. Okay, alright. I'm knocking the screws over. Okay, come here, screw, come here. Sorry, I know you're just staring at the battery, but alright, let's go ahead and continue trying to pull this out. This connector is in there real strong. Man, I don't know. Like, jeez, let me flip it over maybe. I'm going to use my thumb here. My thumb might be stronger. Oh yeah, okay. Oh god, why is this connector in there so strong? There we go. Okay, there we got the battery out. Okay, That's what it looks like. If you get a replacement, make sure you have it the right way. You can see the bottom of the connector has the exposed pins as well as this lump there, so make sure you put it back the right way. Okay, we're going to set that battery aside. Flip this over. Okay, what's next? We got a couple screws we're going to have to remove. Let's remove the SSD here. So again, there's this thermal pad. You're going to have to lift it up. Okay, so it's going to get some bends in it. All right. We're going to just lift it up there, and we're going to undo this screw. Okay. All right, and then it goes up slightly. You kind of wiggle and pull it back. So if I'm not mistaken, this is like a graphite kind of shield thing, which kind of helps disperse the heat. We're going to set that aside. Okay, there's only one slot. Here's the little button that I was talking about that you could see through the cover that does a battery reset. Since we did disconnect the battery and we're going to be pulling everything apart, let's go ahead and hold the power button down for 15 seconds to drain any residual power. All right, as mentioned earlier, this is drains the additional power that's left in the capacitors and stuff. Makes it a lot safer to work on, especially if you're going to be messing with the LCD LVDS connector. If you don't do this, there's a very good chance you can fry the backlight circuit or other components, the screen, the cables, and stuff like that. All right, their keyboard cable looks a little gross, like water or something got on it. It's interesting. Wipe it, see if that comes off. Not really. Okay, I don't know if that's like glue or what. Okay, so we're gonna have to unlatch the keyboard. So this plastic stuff is kind of in the way. Let me zoom in a little bit more here. Okay, so basically hold the plastic out of the way, and then we're gonna flip this latch up. Once you flip that latch up, you can go ahead and pull this cable out. So you gotta get onto just this one layer, and then you can pull that out just like that, okay? And then we got the keyboard backlight connector, same thing, we gotta flip that latch. This plastic stuff is in the way as well. So get that out of the way. Flip that latch up, and then we're gonna have to use like tweezers or something to get under there, okay? And pull that out. You got the touchpad, trackpad connector here, same thing, flip that latch up, and then you can get underneath, okay? And pull that out. Be very careful because these cables can be fragile. All right, we got the speaker cable right here, and this connects to both speakers. This design is very bad. It's like the wings of the connector are tucked underneath the motherboard, so you gotta kind of like get under there with some kind of tool. I can go with my fingernail on one side, but the other side, I don't know. Maybe we gotta wait till we can lift the whole motherboard up. This is terrible. All right, I'm gonna use my fingernail here and see if I can grab it. Nope. So let me actually go get some needle nose pliers. All right, I'll be back. All right, so I got the needle nose pliers. We're gonna pinch the wings and be careful because you don't want to go under the motherboard and then end up scratching it up. So we're just grabbing the wings and we're gonna kind of just wiggle side to side. Wow, this is gonna be tough. Okay, wiggle, nope. It's so hard to get this connector. All right, jeez. All right, come on. Who designed this thing? I mean, MSI did, but okay. Let's go ahead and actually start removing the other screws first because it looks like they designed this to be a huge pain. So I'll zoom out a bit more. Sorry, it's hard to see, but there's one screw here. Okay, we're gonna remove that. There's one screw over here. We're gonna remove that. Make sure to be very careful with these wireless antennas. You don't wanna damage those. Okay, we got the wireless antennas here. I feel like I should just peel all this whole black sheet off, but that can cause some damage, so I want to be very careful with that. All right, so we're going to peel up these little black tabs that are on top of the wireless antennas. And we might have to actually peel this whole portion off because how do I get over here? Okay, we got this we call Kapton tape here on top of the wireless card, and the white antenna is going to the white arrow, the black antenna is going to the black arrow. We're going to go straight from the tail and just pull straight up just like this to disconnect them. There's one screw here holding the wireless card down. we'll get that screw out. Okay. And hopefully we can get the wireless card out now. This antenna, these two antennas, are tucked under the board here, so we'll get that, and now we can flip that out of the way. Okay, wireless card is under here, so we're gonna get underneath. I get underneath with my fingernail. You have this raised bit here, and I use that to help kind of push one side, then the other side, and there we go. There's the wireless card. Very, very, very annoying, stupid design. All right, we got this cable here. This is the LCD LVDS connector. You have to peel this plastic off of here. Okay. So carefully peel this plastic off. All right, just like that. Now we have this flip latch on this side, so flip that up. All right, once you flip that up, you can go ahead and get this out. There's probably some adhesive under here that's going to make this annoying, so we are going to have to kind of get under there with a tool to kind of lift the adhesive a little. Okay, and yeah, definitely if you didn't do the battery drain, you probably killed your computer. So we're going to lift that so it flexes at an angle and then comes up like that. And now we should be able to carefully peel this away. So I'm pulling it this way as I lift it up, so it's not just flipping it over and bending the wires. Okay, we're going to slowly, carefully peel this. Very annoying. Okay, so it has two separate adhesive, some down here and then some at this corner of this fan. And now we can flip that out of the way. Here you can see the adhesive pad. There's a rectangular one here, and then there's a small rectangle patch down there. Okay, let's see. Is that everything? I don't see any other screws unless they're hiding stuff under this plastic, which would be even more stupidly annoying. And I hope they don't have anything like that. They just have all the circuitry, right? Okay, let's see. Can we lift this? You can see we can lift the top edge here. It's wiggling. And most likely they tucked components into the edge here. There's the headphone jack or audio 3.5mm jack there is tucked in. So for that, we'd have to lift from this side first. Unless the USB-C port might be also tucked there, so we gotta be very careful. Are there clips holding this? I see a clip. It looks like clips are holding this. So I see a plastic clip here and here, which means this board, you'd have to like flex it, which really sucks. Okay, this is how MSI builds their stuff. It's very annoying. I don't know if you can see that. You see these plastic clips? They go over the motherboard, which make it so you can't just pull it out. Okay, let's try and peel a little bit of this plastic up. You gotta be careful with the sharp cuts of the plastic because they designed those so when you peel it, it's just gonna tear. Okay. Is there a hidden screw here? They have all these little random rubber pads all around the board, but they're not actually holding anything, I don't think, because it's right over a connector. See, there's a sharp corner cut here. If I just pull straight up, it's gonna tear that on that corner. So I try and be careful with that. It doesn't feel like, yeah, there's no screws, it's just these clips. Okay, you can see it's coming out. So these things get caught somewhat on there. And you can see now we can kind of lift this out. Okay, and then you gotta make sure to be careful with all the little cables there. Is there any cables wrapped around the top? No? Okay. So at least they didn't wrap the power button cable around the top like they usually do. So we're gonna slowly, carefully lift this. Oh, this connector went back in. So you gotta be careful. And as you can see, you kind of need somewhat long fingers to even grab this to lift it. All right, so we're gonna carefully, why are these cables going back in? Okay, I'm gonna carefully rotate this and be very careful because we did leave the speaker connected here. And I'm just going to use the wires because there's no way I'm going to get the connector. I'm going to carefully go underneath. Make sure you are grounded so that you don't damage the motherboard with static. I'm going to grab the wire area and wiggle that, and there we go. Okay, so now we can flip this over. This is the bad fan. Make sure to remember that's the CPU fan. This is the GPU. GPU fan's right there. Okay, here you can see you have 2 sticks of RAM, and then you got the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery here. The battery is a CR1220W. Also, the connector, I'm pretty sure the metal pins are face up, exposed, and you have the red wire going towards the headphone jack, and the black wire is going towards the battery connector. So if you're getting a replacement, make sure you take note of that and get the right parts. Okay, so now that we have access to the bottom, I'm going to brush this up. There's also all this dust on here. Okay, I'm going to put the motherboard on a ESD anti-static bag thing while I work on this. So I'm going to clean this dust out and clean the dust out of the motherboard, basically just using a toothbrush and then a blower to blow that out, and I'll be back. See you guys in a bit. Alright, so I'm back. You can see I cleaned out the dust on there, so let's go ahead and set this aside, and then we're going to go ahead and work on this. Also, if you're wondering, the keyboard is held in place by melted plastic. That's whatever the new stupid design that they're doing now to make it so if you need to replace the keyboard, you actually replace the whole entire keyboard assembly, making it a lot more expensive. But you can see they have these melted plastic pieces here, all around here. Okay. If you need to replace the screen, the hinge is pretty easy to remove. 3 screws on each side. You would open the screen about 90 degrees, hang the screen over the edge of your desk with the keyboard laying flat, undo those screws, and then you should be able to lift that out. I'm not going to do that because we don't need to, but yeah, we'll set this aside. You can see I cleaned up the fans as good as I could, best I can. But there's still stuff all stuck in it, and that's because they used, like, I don't know, whatever greasy stuff they have made it all stuck. So you can see how this fan spins, and then this fan, see it gets stuck. So that's why it's bad. We're going to switch over to a J0 or JS0. PH0 should work as well. All right, and we're going to undo the screws holding the fan in place. Oh, let me actually show you the RAM real quick. 2 tabs, pull those to the sides, pops up. And this is a PC4 3200AA stick of RAM. You should be okay with any PC4 3200AA RAM. So yeah, if you want to upgrade, get like 2 16 gig sticks, 2 32 gig sticks if they have, and you can upgrade. Okay, so there you go. The only thing to take note of, if you install the RAM wrong, the computer's not going to start up right, and then it's going to be a pain. You're going to have to take this whole thing apart again. Sometimes even just simply pulling the RAM out and putting it back in can cause that issue. So if your computer just black screens and doesn't want to start up at all, keep that in mind. You might have to pull the RAM out and then do that. Alright, so we're going to undo these screws here. Okay, so there's 3 screws holding the fan onto this. I don't know if there's anything hidden on the other side, but I see 3 screws here. Hopefully we're not going to have to redo the thermal paste as well, because a lot of times these laptops, you can see they put this plastic over the other side of the motherboard, but this side doesn't seem to be trapped, so hopefully, no, I don't think it's coming out. We'll find out. Alright, so we got the connector here. I'm going to use my fingernails at the wings and just wiggle it just like that. There we go. Alright, and it might actually just be held because they have all this tape on top. Okay, so we're going to have to actually peel up all this stuff here. Alright, so we're going to carefully peel this out. Again, this has a lot of those sharp corners, which we're probably going to end up tearing, but I mean, if we have to, we have to. Okay, so since the tear goes in this way, you're going to have to want to peel that way to try and avoid tearing it as much as you can. So I'm going to peel it that way, carefully, slowly. Okay, then we got this side, same thing. We're going to peel this way. There's another sharp cut there, so you got to be careful peeling it. Okay, and we're going to pull this side this way. It looks like this completely is just ripped off, so it's not attached. So that's okay. And then we'll peel that and go this way. And then we're going to work our way over. And there we go. Hopefully that's enough. Let's see if we can pull this. Wow, what is holding this in place? So we got all the adhesive out. There is also this little metal tab here that grabs on a little angled piece. Okay, but I don't think that's holding it in. So, is there a screw I missed? I don't see any screws I missed here. So we should be able to pop this off. Okay, so I held the sorry, I held the heatsink here and then I pushed with my thumb here and it made it like pop a little, so maybe the grease or whatever they had in there was holding it. There we go. So now we're gonna lift this side and then we're gonna have to kind of wiggle and pull it from here. Again, there's a little metal clip here that you kind of need to pull. You can see I pulled that with my thumbnail. You can use a little tool to get that out. And then we're gonna kind of try and get this side. But this piece is hooking it on there. So we are gonna have to try and lift the heatsink up. So I'm gonna hold on to the heatsink this way, and then let's see if we can somehow, oh, get that slid in, and there we go. Okay, that's what we were trying to do. We're gonna flip this back over, and you can see all this dust stuck in there. That's really bad. So we're probably going to have to take out the other fan as well, because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of like dirt and dust stuck in there. Let me see if I can get out some of it. Wow, it's like a solid foam pad. Jeez, like I've never had dust like this hard packed. Yeah, it's like foam with adhesive backing almost. That's what it feels like. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all that stuff out. We'll see. But basically I just use a toothbrush here and just kind of like do that. But I don't think it's going to work in this case. Whatever this dust is, oh my god. Yeah, it's stuck in there real good. I'm probably going to have to use like the needle nose pliers and just kind of go through each little fin and try and scrape that stuff out. Wow. Yeah, that stuff is stuck in there real bad. That's real bad. This stuff is like gooey. I don't know how you would... Just repairing the fan wouldn't be good enough because there's no way the computer would get good airflow. This stuff is like chewing gum, like it's crazy. What can I do here? Because this is going to take a lot of time to get that stuff out. And I don't know if it's going to get pushed in as well. It's kind of, you need like a metal hook or something. Let me see here. What do I have? Maybe I can try with this. Let me see if I can zoom in and show this a little better. You see all that gunk in there? So I'm going to use that and just go through each fin and try and scrape it out. And hopefully we can get most of it. And then my worry is because this stuff is like so sticky that it's just going to end up sticking all the new dust to it. And I'm pretty sure this is caused by vaping or a lot of like greasy stuff cooked in the air. So you do want to be careful with a lot of that stuff. Make sure you have good airflow through your house to kind of help keep the grease in the air down to a minimum. Alright. Because vaping, you're basically just burning oils into the air. Alright, so I gotta carefully pick out all the gunk in there. I don't even know if you're able to see what I'm doing. Jeez. Yeah, normally I can just quickly brush this stuff with a toothbrush and it all comes out. And then I just use an electric air blower. But in this case, the blower's not going to do anything. And the toothbrush isn't going to do anything. This stuff is like chewing gum gunk. It's so stuck on there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what kind of made it so I couldn't really get the stuff out. It's like glued on the fan. It made it a lot harder to pull out. Okay, there we go. Roll that dust out. And what you want is you want to be able to see, I don't know if you can see it, through the vent. There you go. You can see like through the vent. Okay, but as you can see, it's not completely clear. I don't know if this will fit. I have this, nope, that won't fit. Like acupuncture needle that it can fit through the fins, but I don't know if I can clean it out with that. I need something slightly thicker, but not too thick, so I don't think I have anything that's that size. Okay, so it's probably best we're gonna get it. I don't know how you can really clean it any better. You'd have to maybe pull the whole heatsink out and then soak it in like isopropyl alcohol or something, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so clean up the area here. Okay, we got to get this side as well. Okay, and yeah, this is gonna be cheese. This is so bad. I think I need to re-quote for this because this isn't just fan cleanup or replacing fan. This is some detailed cleaning that needs to happen here. Man, it's packed in there real bad. Maybe I can cut a piece of plastic to make a tool for this. I'm gonna try. Because this is pretty bad. See all that? It's like solid, like chewing gum or like taffy. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can cut a piece of plastic that can fit in there. Maybe this piece of plastic is the right thickness or thinness or whatever. So I'm gonna try and cut that. And we're gonna see if that will work. Okay. So let's see here. That's pretty thin. So let's see if this works. So what I did, I cut this so it's a bit thicker towards the back. Hopefully it's enough to fit through the slot. And I'm gonna just pull it through the slot and see if that works. So we'll get that through and oh, it goes through. Okay. Maybe is it too thin? Should I make it thicker? No, I don't want to make it too thick. All right, so we're just gonna, oops, sorry. We're going to use this and we're going to just use that to push it through, and we're going to go through each vent and hopefully we can clear it out. So we gotta go through each vent. This is gonna be very annoying and tedious. Make sure to clear it all out. Oh, see, it's stuck there. Or is there a metal thing in the way? What's in there? Something is stuck in there that's preventing this from going in. Let's see if I push it from the other side, the thinner one. Okay, it went through from the thinner side, but okay, it gets caught there for some reason. So there's probably a piece of metal that's sticking out, so I guess we can't go all the way through that way. Okay, so we'll skip that one. This is very annoying. You can skip over if you want. I'm just going to be doing this. That way the customer can see how much time was put into this, trying to clean this thing out. All right. Wonder if I should wrap some tape around it to make it thicker. Let me do that. I'm going to make this a little bit thicker, so that way I can make sure it's actually wrapping and grabbing everything out. Okay, so cut a piece of tape and I'm just gonna hold it in half here. And we're gonna stick that on halfway. Making custom tools to repair and clean this laptop. All right, fold that over. All right, so now it's a bit thicker. Let's see if it still fits through the grooves. So I basically just wrapped a piece of tape over both sides. Yeah, that's a much more solid fit, but now it's getting caught. But since it's getting caught, that means it's pushing everything out. Should be good. I need a tool like this made out of metal. It's bending and then it's getting stuck. Okay. I can pull it all the way through, maybe. Pull all the way through. All right. So we can kind of see where, I don't know, oh, here, so I can kind of look through here and see where there's gunk still stuck in, and then we're gonna just push it through those. Okay, for the most part this one's pretty clean now. Yeah, for the most part, this one's pretty clean now. Let me see here. There's still some kind of stuck in there. Oh, I think that's just this metal. Yeah, there's some that, I don't know, it's just gonna be, there's a little bit of gunk, but it's not that big a deal. Okay. I do see something stuck in there. Oh, that's the metal piece that it hits. So I'm trying to look through here and then I can see where there's gunk stuck in. Then we can push that through. Yeah, this is a long, tedious process if we're gonna try and get this cleaned out, but you can see we push it, oops, push it through and then you get that black gunk on it. But it'll take forever to get every single one. So I'll do the ones that look more clogged. All right, let's see this side. Side's not too crazy. I'm gonna brush it off and then brush what we can out. I need a special tool for this. So bad. Okay, we're gonna have to see if we can clean the fan as well. let me see the heatsink. Yeah, the heatsink's pretty good, so I don't think you need to use the tool on this side. Actually, there's a couple spots, so sorry, I know, but you can see there. Okay, so let's see if I can. It's hard to do this while trying to show it on camera, but this one, okay. Push that through, and there you go. Now that thing's gone. All right, there's one there. Push that through. All right, and that thing's gone. The rest is very fine, so it's not that bad. And I think the other stuff's like kind of reflection. Let's see if that black piece will come out. All right, well, the other stuff is super fine, so we're just gonna leave that. All right, clean off my desk here. All right, so now we got the fan. The fan is having some problems, and that's because the grease gets in the bearings. Also, there's all this gunk here, so let me try and brush that out. I don't know if that's gonna come out or not. With a toothbrush, I might have to use something like a wire brush, I don't know. Yeah. All right, for the most part, it's cleaned up. All right, so what we're gonna do from the back here, hopefully this fan is replaceable. We're gonna push on the solid outer ring here with the tips of my fingers, and okay, good, it does pop out. So we should be able to repair this fan. Here you can see more gunk under here we're gonna have to clean out. You can just use like a paper towel or something to wipe that. So I'm just gonna wipe around there. Hopefully it will come out. Jeez, it's like burnt on or something. And it's just pulling lint from the paper towel, maybe not. Okay, this stuff is pretty bad. All right, so clean that up. All right, let's get some more paper towel. We're gonna also need some isopropyl alcohol for this to clean it. Actually, no, we won't need isopropyl alcohol. We'll just need paper towel here. Okay, so we're gonna grab that and then clean that up. Be very careful. This thing is pretty fragile, so you don't wanna put too much pressure on it. And we're gonna clean that out. Okay. Next, we're gonna drip some oil into here. I just use some motor oil because that's what I got lying around. Any kind of oil that's designed for lubricating moving parts, you should be good to use. All right. Don't use like WD-40. All right. WD-40 is not a lubricant. It's actually the opposite. It strips any lubricants out of your thing. So it might be like working for a little while. You'll be like, oh, it's working, but don't do that. It's going to mess up your thing. All right. So I'm going to just use a small screwdriver here. You can use whatever, like a needle or folded out paper clip, and we're just going to drip it into the little hole here. Okay. All right. So get that in there. Then we're going to put the fan propellers back on. Come on. There we go. And you can see already it's spinning better. We're going to have to do that a few times, clean it up, and then spin it again. Oh, what is that piece that just fell down? Okay, so we're going to spin this around. All right, you can see it's a lot better. It's not completely fixed. You can see it still kind of stops a little bit. Depending on the fan, sometimes that's just how it is, but let's see. We're going to pop this out again. Okay. And we're gonna use the paper towel to kind of clean it up a little, and then we're gonna drip some more oil in there. So clean that out again. Okay, and then we'll put another drop of oil in there, and hopefully then it will be good. Okay, that's too much actually. Get some more oil in there. and then we'll get this fan propeller back on. All right, you can see it's a lot better now. All right, there you go. All right, so it shouldn't have that grinding noise anymore. If it does, then we're gonna end up having to replace the fan. Anyways, let's go ahead now, and we're going to put this fan back in, and then we're gonna go ahead and get the other fan out, because that fan, I'm pretty sure, you see all that gunk still there? We gotta get all that stuff out if we can, as much as possible. I mean, it's gonna get it all again back in once they start using it again, but you wanna try and get these clumps out as much as possible. Okay, so we're gonna get this fan back in there. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. So this, you gotta go in underneath, make sure the connector goes as well. Make sure all this adhesive ends up back on top. Slide that back in. Okay. Also, oh, if I, oops, why isn't it? Oh, it's getting caught on the metal piece. Okay, let me pull this back out. So it will get caught on this, so make sure when you're getting the fan out that you lift this part up as well. Okay. The one thing I was mentioning earlier about that little clip over here, so that clips onto this little piece there. So yeah, all right, just wanted to show you that. Let's go ahead and get this back in. Get all this adhesive back on top. Get that back in there. Okay, flip this over. Make sure that the little metal frame goes all around the fan again. Okay, let's slowly lower this back down. And also they mark the fan, so you know the connector, the black, they put marker. So you can see this side has the exposed metal pins. You actually want that facing down. Okay, we'll put that back in, and we're gonna pinch both sides. All right, now let's go ahead and get the little screws back on. Okay, that one, there's 3 screws, this one, and the last one in the corner up here. We're going to go ahead and take out the GPU fan as well to take a look. I'm pretty sure it's all clogged with that same kind of dust. Okay, so let's go ahead and move over to the GPU fan. We are going to disconnect it as well. This one's a little tricky because the wings are caught in there. I'm going to use little tweezers to kind of get it. Make sure you don't scrape the board, but basically go at the wings. And same thing, you just keep wiggling. All right, and it should, there you go, pop out. All right, now we're going to go ahead and use the PH0 or JS0 J0 screwdriver to undo all these little screws again, just like on the other one. Okay, 3 screws. This one might be a lot more difficult to remove because there's 2 of these plastic things that are holding in the way. Okay, now that we got those 3 out, we're going to go ahead and lift from this side. Let's see, is there adhesive holding it on this one? Not really. Okay, so I flip this over, and this is the side that we would be starting to lift from. Okay. Oh, you can hear it kind of had some stickiness to it. And then I'm pretty sure there's a clip on this side as well. So here you can see I lifted this plastic out of the way, and then there's this metal clip here. So you gotta pull that back a little. You might have to use like a thin little tool if you can't do it with like fingernails or something, but basically this metal piece here, okay, you gotta get in there and pull that back. And this one, they put really tight fit, so actually even with this thin pointy tool, it's really hard to get in there. But we gotta get that lifted. Let's see, I'm gonna lift this and start pulling from here. And then let's see, can I somehow get in there? Yeah, wow, that metal tab is very difficult to get out. Okay, I think I got it with my fingernail. And there, see, now we can lift that. Okay, now that we got that lifted, we can go ahead and hopefully work our way to wiggle those 2 pieces out. Oh yeah, remember how the metal here, it catches on the lip, so you do kind of have to pull that slightly up here, and then we can slide the whole fan out from underneath, just like that. And okay, look, this is gonna need some major work as well. All right, you can see this, it's all gunked up there as well. Okay, so we're gonna have to clean all of that and clean all of this. This fan is also really bad. Okay, so I'm gonna brush that gunk off into the trash can next to me. That's why I'm out of view right now. All right. Jeez. Okay, at least these fans are repairable. Basically, I'm just using a toothbrush and doing that. All right, let's go ahead and pop this fan propeller out as well. You want to make sure to apply even pressure on both sides, opposite of each other. If you go at an angle, it's not going to come out easily. Okay, we've got this gunk here. Again, we're just going to clean that out. And you want to be very careful not to damage the components in here or nick these wires. Okay, we got this. You can go ahead and like brush this, but again, be careful. This is very fragile. So if you're wondering how I do it, I hold it like this and then I just brush it like this carefully. Okay, so that it can kind of somewhat spin, but not completely freely. I'll go around on this side and do the same thing. Okay, so we got that out. We're gonna have to add the grease to it and do that thing as well as the other one, but we're gonna set that aside for now. Let's go ahead and clean up this vent here. Okay, so same thing here, this vent. Let's see if I can just do it all through pushing this thing through, so that way we don't risk pushing any of that gunk in the opposite way. But basically, we're gonna get this in here and we're just gonna push it down. Let's see what happens. Maybe the gunk is too strong. Okay, it's going. Okay, it's working. Okay, so you can see it's pushing that gunk through. We're just gonna continue. Oh, I have a customer calling, so I might have to take that. But we're just gonna continue pushing that gunk all the way through. Okay, you can see how it's pushing that gunk out. I need a more solid material for this, because it's like bending. Okay, but you can see we're pushing that ball of gunk out. Okay, so it somehow broke, but there we go. It didn't stay all attached as one big ball of gunk like I was hoping it would. Okay. It's bending and then it makes it difficult. Need a more solid thing to do this with. But there we go. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing this. Give me a second. I had a customer calling, so let me answer that and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and continue cleaning this thing out. All right, so keep pushing this thing through here. Jeez. I wonder if I should just keep doing it the other way. All right, let's see. I'm gonna continue doing it with this. we'll pull the rest out if there's any still stuck, because this is a lot faster. Okay, there we go. And let's brush out any remaining. Okay. And then let's blow this dust out. Okay. Oh, this stuff is so gross. All stuck to my desk. Okay, let's take a look through. For the most part, it's good. There are a few little dots stuck in there. You can see that? I think I need to make a better tool of this because it's too bendy. It's making it difficult. Yeah, let me make a new one of this. Let's see here. I need like a brush with long bristles that I can just push through and then have it pull all that stuff out. Yeah, for the most part it's good. There's one more thing there. Yeah, it's not bad. Let me try the electric air blower on it real quick. I'll be back. Alright, well, for the most part, I think it's good. There's still a little bit of gunk stuck in there, but yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and go to this one. This one is thinner, so I don't think my tool's gonna work on it, but we're just gonna pick it out. I'd have to make another thinner one to fit this, I think. Such a pain having to clean out each and every little fin. Right, there's all that gunk. Toothbrush to kind of clean it up a little bit more. Okay, clean off that gunk. Alright, clean that gunk out. Alright, let's take a look here. Yeah, this one has the heat pipe going through, so it's a lot harder to do that. Let's see if we can. better with that. Yeah, not quite. Okay, that's about as good as it's going to get without spending a whole bunch more time. Let's see, there's a little bit right there. I'm going to see if I can get that out. It's hitting the thing. Yeah, that's going to be a pain. I can see it from here, so I'm just gonna try to pick this out. Okay. Yeah, it's better, but there's stuff still stuck in there. I don't know. I'm going to try one thing. I'm going to see if I flush this out with a little bit of isopropyl rubbing alcohol and then brush it. So give me a second. I'm going to get a little bottle and I'll be back. Alright, so we got this paper towel here and I got this little bottle isopropyl alcohol. I'm just going to pour some in there. Let's see if that will help at all. Probably not. No, that's probably not going to do anything. That's just making it gross. Ew. Ew. Look at that grossness. I think I'm just accidentally pushing the stuff further in. So I'm going to use an electric air blower and blow it out from this to this side so that way I don't blow the stuff onto the board. I'll be back. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, I'm back. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah. It's a lot cleaner actually. Should I do that to all of them? I don't know. There's still like gunk stuck on this side. I feel like I'm going to end up causing some more damage if I keep messing around with it. So I'm probably going to just leave it as it is now. Okay. It's a lot better. Let's go ahead and work on this fan. And just get some grease in there so it's a little bit better. Alright, since we got it open, might as well. I'm going to push that back out. Okay. And same thing. We're just going to wipe the thing here. Since this one wasn't too bad, we're just going to put a little oil and then put it back together, and I think we should be good. Alright, so let's get this guy. Just going to get a little oil. Drop it in there. Okay, and we should be good. Alright, let's get this thing back together. And then should be good. Alright. Alright, so got some oil in there. We're just going to put the propellers back on. Spin it around. And we should be good. Alright, let's reassemble this laptop. I might have to respond to the messages, so let's go ahead and just reassemble the fan real quick, and then I'm gonna answer those messages, and then I'll be back. Alright, so we'll get this. Make sure these, make sure these two pieces go underneath the board and the connector as well. Okay, underneath, not on top. Just like that. good. We'll flip this back over. Okay, just like this. We'll get this connector in and then pinch that together. All right, let's get the 3 screws back on. Okay, we'll get that screw in, and then we'll get the other 2. All right. That one and this one. All right, just in case, we're gonna go ahead and pull the RAM stick on this, get it back lined up. Click that down. Do this one as well. All right. Make sure that's in and click that down. All right, so there we go. Let's go ahead and reassemble this, but let me respond to my customer first. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Let's go ahead and reassemble this thing. So, got the motherboard. Here we have the keyboard assembly and the screen. Okay, so this, we do have to put in the headphone jack side first because it sticks out like that. And then you want to make sure all these cables stay up and out of the way. You can hold them back and then put something on top of it, or you can ask someone to help you hold it. I'm just going to get a little bottle and just put that on top so it holds it out of the way. Okay, and same thing with this. We'll just get that. All right, so next thing we're going to do, let's see if I can show you guys this. Okay, we're going to get the headphone jack side in first. You want to make sure that the speaker connector and everything are out of the way. Okay, go in at an angle sideways. Okay, then we're going to slowly lower this down. Make sure these other cables are out of the way as well. The keyboard backlight as well as the touchpad connectors. Okay, lower that down. All right, and then obviously this is also going to be somewhat of a pain, this area here, because that's like it was a pain earlier as well. Okay, pull this thing back out. It keeps wanting to go back underneath. All right, then we're gonna let these go so that they can go back over there. Get this stuff out of the way. We're gonna pull this up slightly and pull. So pull up slightly here and then push that in this way and get that in. Okay, make sure that those go all into place and then drop it down. Make sure it looks good and make sure all the USB-C ports are lined up. Yes, okay. And we gotta pull this back out. Make sure these latches are up, get those cables back in. Once they're in, slide your finger over to latch it down. Okay, this cable seems to have pulled itself in, so I think it was already good. Yep, all right. Make sure it's in all the way. Slide your finger over to latch it. Same thing with the keyboard connector. That in. Line that up. Pull that in. Is that? How do I know if it's in all the way? There's no. Okay, this one doesn't plug in very far, so just make sure it's in there. There's the solid plastic tab underneath as well that you can kind of use to help push it in. And then we need to slide the latch over. Make sure it's going underneath the plastic, not on top. Speaker connector. Get that in as well. All lined up. This can be a little tricky. There we go. Push that in. All right, let's start getting all these screws and stuff back in. So first thing, we'll get the LCD LVDS connector back. Okay, let's zoom in a bit here. All right, just make sure that latches up. We're gonna go ahead and get this in. Pull that, make sure it's in all the way, and then slide your finger over to latch it down, and then stick down the adhesives. You can stick that down as well. If I remember correctly, the one screw was here. Okay, so we're gonna get that in. I probably should have put a mark on it so I know, but pretty sure it was right there. Okay, we're gonna go to the wireless card side. Let's go ahead and get the wireless card in first. So we have the wireless card here. Make sure it goes into the slot. You want to kind of make sure to look from the side, maybe lift that up, helps a little bit. This adhesive or this plastic stuff's kind of annoying because it's in the way. So we got to kind of make sure the wireless card is underneath the plastic when we get this in. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be very annoying. Looks like we're gonna have to use the edge here to kind of push it in, and we can't do it at an angle, so get that in. Alright, hope that's all the way in, because this plastic is very annoying. Alright, seems like is that in all the way? It's hitting this raised metal piece, so I don't think that's in all the way. Let's go ahead and look here. So push here, and there we go. Make sure it goes below the raised metal circle in the middle, because you don't want to tighten the screw down and then crack the wireless card. So, all right, get that in now. Perfect. Okay, then the antennas, they went around this. If you want to keep it underneath that stuff. Like this. We had the one screw for the fan here. Alright, then we had the two antennas going underneath the board here. So black one under there first, and then the white one. Alright, now we're going to get the white wire in first. Line it up. This stuff is always a pain. Line it up and then click it down. Good. Black wire, same thing. Line it up and click it down. Come on, there we go. Alright, you can stick that tape back over the top. Alright, and then you have these, you can tape those back down. Just like that, tape that all back down. Okay, rotate that back over. We'll zoom back out. What else we got? We got the battery, and I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, let's go ahead and get that back in. All right, battery connector, make sure to line it up. Make sure you get all the pins in properly before you try and push it in. It will help to use like a needle nose pliers or tweezers to kind of help between the wires to help line it up and pull that. All right, looks like it's up. I'm gonna again use the needle nose pliers to help push the battery in. Jeez, it doesn't want to go. This battery is a pain to like take out and put back. Let's zoom in here. So how am I going to do this? Push on both sides. Push from here. There we go. All right, I think that's in completely. I hope. All right, we're gonna now get this all lined back up. There's the raised, oops, sorry. There's the raised metal pieces that line that up there, and then down here we're just gonna get the screws in. All right, we should actually switch back. I've been using the PH0 or JS0 screwdriver the whole time. We're gonna now get these screws back in. Let me make sure that I tighten these down since, yeah, okay, all right, get that in, this one, and the last one here. All right, got all 3 battery screws. We're just gonna stick this back down now. And these just stick on top of the screws. Honestly, these rubber feet aren't necessary at all, and I believe they're just there to make it so you don't know how to remove the battery. So, yeah, they're not doing anything important. All right, then we got the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here. We're gonna get this back in, okay. Goes in slightly on an angle, push it in. All right, get the screwdriver, lift up the thermal pad, and tighten that down. Okay, stick that back down. All right, and now we just got to put the bottom case screws back in. All right, we got everything back into place. If you want, you can actually power it up, make sure everything is good. We're most likely going to have to plug it in, but let's see. Okay, so right now, as you can see, it won't turn on. Let's see, hold the power button. Nope, nothing. And we did get the keyboard in. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the power cable plugged in. It's on this side. Okay, plug that in, power it on. Okay, keyboard's lighting up. I think this model, when you disconnect the battery, it does some fail-safe thing to like shut it off completely. I don't know if it's weird. It acts like a BIOS reset. So the keyboard turned itself back off, and hopefully it's going to turn itself back on. Let's see. Am I going to have to turn it back on? What's going on here? I hope this computer's not messed up now. Come on. That was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. You're not allowed to die. Let's push the power button again. You can see it's lighting up. I hear the fans. Still a little noisy, but a lot less than before. Okay, and now it's doing the turning it off and on itself all over again. Like the first time I turned it on, I don't remember if I showed that on video, but the first time I turned on their computer, it was completely dead. I had to plug it in, and then it did this power on, off, on, off, on, off. So if your computer's doing that, just be patient, let it do its thing. Don't try and force shut it off or anything. Right, you can see it showed MSI, or there you go, the MSI shield, and then it's turning off. Just give it some time. I think it's going to turn itself back on. Yep. All right. There we go. And it should be booting to Windows 11 now. Come on. Show the little circle. There we go. All right, so there we go. I'm going to unplug the power once it's completely booted just to make sure it's working okay on battery, and then we should be good to go to put the bottom cover and everything on. All right. I don't know how long the customer left this thing unplugged. They said they used it on charger all the time, so their battery's probably also bad, but let's see. All right, so there we go, and I do see battery, so yep, while unplugged, it's still good. All right, and the fans are still somewhat a little noisy. I'm gonna stress test them to see if it makes the really bad noise, but I think that's probably gonna be it. So let's go ahead and get this bottom cover back on. All right. So this is the back side with the fan vents. Put that in. All right, we're gonna push these clips back down, work our way towards the back. Make sure to clip all of that. Remember, we unclipped all of this, so make sure to clip this back in. Okay, and you do need to kind of push this clip down a little first, and then you can click it in. Oh, why is this clip looking weird here? There we go. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna get all the screws back in, and that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. I know it was a long, tedious one with a lot of cleaning, but yeah, hopefully it helped. Again, if it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well. Even just saying like hi or something, alright? Because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, thanks for watching, and you're welcome to stay as I get the rest of these screws back in, but yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, let's get all these screws. Huh, this screw doesn't want to go in completely right. Let's see. Things in there. I don't know what's going on with that hole. It's like something's stuck in there. I'm gonna rewatch my video and see if something is weird in there. Yeah, give me a second. I'll be back just in case I have to pop this whole thing apart. Alright, I don't see anything strange there. It's weird. So I guess let's just go ahead and put the screws back. Okay. There we go. Okay. Alright, and last screw, and we're pretty much good to go. Let's go ahead and flip this over, power it on, and then I'll run some stress tests, but that's not going to be in the video. So yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Oh, look at all that gunk that's stuck to it from their fan vent. Alright, see you guys later. Let's drop this. Bye.